Well, hello. Let's try this again. I was able to delete it on. Sorry, I dropped Sasquatch. I was able to delete it on Facebook and LinkedIn, but not YouTube yet. So maybe I don't know why. Anyway, sometimes I make mistakes and I don't delete them right away. So hi, this is just going along with my stuff, and so I was so discombobulated that I didn't realize that I was starting early because usually I start at 6. I started at 6:15 last week, I know. But anyhow, there's been a lot going on, and I started to talk about it. So maybe some of you that were on will come back. So I can't see who's on there, but unless you comment. So I will roll the intro again, and I'll be back. Boom! Let's do this. Okay. So sometimes we have technical difficulties. Sometimes life is technical difficulties, isn't it? Let's switch this around so I can put Sasquatch next to me here. And I'm going to grab the Google Slides that I had. So I started to tell you about this, and I'll keep telling you about it now. So I had my older sister passed away, then the situation with my dad, which he ended up being fine, and he's just a tough old guy, and he's fine now. But my parents, in their 80s. And it's been a lot. And so I'm building a guest house here and had some money saved, and it was supposed to be done in April, and it should have been done in April. And I had the money then. Now it's, I'm a little stressed. I'm trying to be positive. I'm trying not to look at it that way, but I've been really strung along. And then I just heard more news just right before this, 10 minutes before. I think that's why I was discombobulated about some other stuff. So anyway, the guest house was supposed to be done. It's not even close to it. And the work's been done poorly. He didn't show up many of the days. If I was out of town, he didn't show up. He showed up late, maybe worked an hour and a half, did a lot of things himself when he wasn't supposed to. Gives me excuse after excuse after excuse. And I think he mistook my kindness for weakness and our stupidity. Who the hell knows, But I'm really frustrated because it's not like I live on this planet where I'm I always do amazing things and I'm always the best person. But I try to treat other people with respect and whatnot. And I'm angry with myself, a lot. Because I let it go too long, and I'm just so mad. I'm so mad right now. Mona said, yeah, did you get bad news about the electric box too? Yeah. So if this would have been done on time, then we would have known, and I'm getting an electric panel replaced. It's my whole house. It's only 831 square feet, but as you know, it's this awesome old house. Only one bath. And so I've been running on the 100 amps, and it really should be 2. And then, of course, there's going to be a 100 amp in the guest house in the back. And then he's like, oh, I didn't know, but it's in the plans. It's not my job. And now I'm learning this. Maybe it is because I have to babysit people. Should have looked at it. And all of a sudden he's like, oh, well, now we need a panel upgrade. And then trying to use excuses not to work then when that work that he was doing would have nothing to do with that. So it was supposed to be the panel upgrade is another $5,000. And so that's stressful. And it was supposed to be done on Thursday. And I reached out to him to ask him, what do I do? Do I have to put my food in the freezer, on a cooler? And he's like, oh, they rescheduled it to September 29th. And so I'm really having a hard time containing it right now. I'm so mad. So I don't know what that means, but I'm so angry at myself because every 2 weeks this contractor was telling me 30 to 45 days. And with all the stuff going on, and then my trip back from Norway, I've just been exhausted. And so I'm having, I'm just having these ups and downs. I'm fine. I'm just angry right now because I just heard that news. So I just feel like I'm getting knocked back over and over and over. And so part of my thing right now is that I'm not going to Worlds because I just don't have it in me to train. I just, So Mona says, it's hard to know when to take a hard line. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, who was going to let you know? I know. And I said that to the guy too. And I was like, so why am I finding this out 2 days before? I was thinking about getting a hotel room or something because it's like a full day. And so anyway, I don't know why this is happening, what's going on. But my parents are going to come back out in the fall and I'm highly stressed. And like I said, I feel like it's first world problems, but this is like to help my parents. This is to help take care of my parents, to give them their own place. And we'll still be hanging out together. And this was started in February. Like, why the hell has it gone on this long? And I'm just really frustrated. And so I'm not going to Worlds. And I know there are people that are upset. I'm like, oh, everybody's upset. It's not that. I mean, I really love the camaraderie and hanging out with people and the competition and all of it, Thank God for Mona and Marco Polo and Pam because we get to chat a lot. And I don't know what I'd do without that. But I just don't have it in me to train right now. I don't have it in me. It's everything I can do to get to the gym. I only went once last week. And I know that's really important. And so that's one of the things I want to talk about for like mental health and stuff and some things that I've done just to help me around here. Like I'm upset right now because I just basically heard this news right before 6. And I'm sorry, I usually start at 6. So that's what happened. But I was looking up some of these things and it's like, so my lessons learned. So this is just a funny meme. You look stressed. Thanks. It's the stress. And so, I went to Reddit and I looked up these things and it's like, how do you handle stress? Or like, what is it? I looked up something like, when situations go wrong or something like that. And so this one guy had put in there, I was bullied a lot when I was a child, so I tend to avoid conflicts at all costs. Sometimes, though, it feels like I'm becoming a doormat for people, and physical altercation would not be avoidable. And when I walk away from cases like that, I feel like a terrible loser. How do you handle conflicts like that? So I thought it was kind of interesting. I don't know, like maybe you guys go through this too, but, I'm a really strong, independent, confident person, but you can also have struggles, and it knocks you back a bit and take you some time to get back there. So it's like, even just looking this stuff up and trying to figure it out for myself helps, So these were some of the answers that he got. So learning how to be conciliatory, but also confront people who take advantage of you or others is a skill. It can be learned. Certain jobs that I've had have required this skill. People who are in sales, law, or law enforcement end up with this skill. I had to practice it a lot when I worked at an agency that enforced the minimum wage overtime. So that was one of the things I was thinking about, because if this was one of my clients, and I'm not going to say his name now, but I have filed an ROC complaint, which is a complaint against a contractor's license. And the meeting, the investigation or whatever cannot happen until September 11th. And so I'm just beyond my yard's been a disaster since February. I paid a lot for turf and it's been just, and it's just not fun to look back there. I've got holes all over. It's just whatever. I know people have had to deal with this, but anyway, so I was thinking about this and I'm like, why did I not, like Mona says, it's hard to know when to take a hard line. Unfortunately, this is a situation that is going to make me, well, it's not unfortunate because it's good. It'll help me be more assertive in the future. It's like, I feel like a lot of these things in life come with experience, right? And I certainly will know how to help someone else. So I don't know why I let this go so long. I mean, even Mona, when I was talking to her, was like, what the hell's going on with this thing? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know why that happened, but I finally hit my limit and I'm doing things professionally and I'm going to take care of it. But we're coming down to the wire and it's really frustrating, So time to win the lottery, I guess. Oh, shoot. Hang on. I accidentally removed that. So then this person also says, conflict doesn't go away. The most rational approach to conflict involves straightforward negotiation. Of course, people are heated about our conflicts, but the best way, in my experience, to become better with conflict is training and practice. There are ways to learn how to be assertive, get what you want, and not drag people into an emotional fight. And so that's part of the thing sometimes. Mona says, from here on out, you need to treat yourself as you treat this for a client. Exactly. And so if you can, I can, because I definitely stated that if this was a client of mine, I wouldn't fall for this. I mean, I wouldn't stand for this. And so part of my frustration too was like, oh, these people aren't showing up. Well, I have a friend that I hired as a project manager who's a badass and amazing and a contractor. And he came over and talked to him and was like, what's going on? And the guy said, well, people aren't showing up. And he goes, you're not showing up, buddy. And I think that he's well, you know what? I'm not going to say too much. I don't want to say anything to damage anything, but I don't know what the hell he's doing, but it's not doing the right thing. And he's not, I have had stress and anxiety since February, and he has not paid attention to any of that. Mona says, we get trapped by nice, especially when trying to be understanding. Exactly. And so I was like, what the hell's wrong with me? I mean, a lot of people are like this, and it's funny because I always say I'm nice until I'm not. So I don't know why I'm having this issue dealing with it, but it's affecting a lot of things, and it's affecting my want to train for the Highland Games, even though I love everybody. I mean, also it's 5,000 degrees out, and I really don't want to get up at 5 and throw. I don't have it right now. I just, I'm trying to make light of it, make jokes of it, and just say, hey, I'm going to go out on the top because I'm the current world champion. So that's only going to last for another month or so. And that's fine. Like, I don't live for that. I live to see the people. So maybe I'll just go when it's in cool countries or, whatever. So give a couple more of these. Let's see what we have here. I fear conflict, yet was never bullied or abused another person. It can form for a variety of reasons. What helps is recognizing it's just a fear, like any other fear, like of public speaking or even spiders. Your subconscious brain fears conflict, and so it pushes you to avoid it. This is a defense mechanism that you've strengthened over time. Every time you avoid conflict, the habit, I can't see this, habit becomes stronger. So it's interesting concepts, right? So it's understanding how our brains work. Then it's doing what we have to do to overcome any fear, face it, use the understanding of what's going on as a foundation, and never allow yourself to avoid conflict again. If it's something worth standing up for, it'll be very hard at first, but it gets easier. That old part of the brain needs to be shown through behavior that conflict isn't some crazy threat that needs to be avoided at all costs. And that old part of the brain isn't easily convinced. It's all about survival and being overly cautious. And so this will take time. So I thought that was very interesting. And I don't know if any of this will help you because, this is difficult. But, communication is the key to everything. And I don't have a problem communicating with people. And I'm not, and there's my dichotomy. Like there's people that meet me that think I'm intimidating because it's like who they met at the time or what the situation was or whatever, And so I guess that's part of my frustration is that I feel not myself or that I'm an idiot. Like I did everything wrong, And so I'm going to move on from this. Don't worry. But it's not easy, Okay, let's see what else we have here. So I'm going to talk about some things here with how you can overcome these things because there's a lot going on and it just seems it's one thing after another and we're coming down to the wire. So I don't know what the hell's going to happen, but I'm doing things to take care of myself because the working out really helps, even though it's a fight to get there. It just really helps. The throwing right now is just not something I can put in, just fit in my brain even to think about. So here's some ways to overcome a setback. Expect them. They're normal and everyone faces them. And that's true. And I really hate that sometimes. It really frustrates me because I had this idea that we don't have to go through stuff all the time in order to get to a higher place. But it just inevitably seems that we do. So it's how we handle it that's going to make the difference, right? So acknowledge it. Don't play a blame game. So I shouldn't even blame myself if you're thinking about it. Time heals all ails and get out of your comfort zone. So I'm going to assume that getting out of your comfort zone is taking care of it and not letting people walk all over you anymore. And then that's important too, sometimes I think, to tell you guys how I'm feeling. It's hard for me sometimes because, like, and I've said this a million times, like, because I live alone and whatever, and it's not that I don't know if it's that I don't want to never let them see you sweat. Like, I don't want everybody to think that I can handle everything, but it's also like, is it necessary for me to share it? But then again, sometimes I think it is. So, and then I think I'm going to end here with some funny memes. Conflict. Nobody got time for that. And when you try to avoid conflict, but it still happens anyway. It's interesting. Okay. Mona says, I live on the surface of the sun. Who wants to throw in 110 degrees? Exactly. Well, it's only been like 101, 106, but it feels way, way hotter. So Mona says, you made the best choice of that contractor that you could with the information you had about him at the time. Yeah. And the thing is, too, he was a recommendation, And so he's like, I'm kind of doing it as a favor. But when you're doing a favor for someone, shouldn't you be doing a better job? Okay. And I debated talking about this tonight, but I haven't called out any names or anything. And maybe I will later if everything, whatever works out. But I would have used this guy. I would have had him help a bunch of people build guest houses because they passed a new law here. And, of course, it's got to be to the spec for like the size of your house and the size of the guest house and then your yard and stuff. But I would have recommended him, and there's no way I would recommend him now. And so what's going to happen, and I'll keep you updated, is the hearing will happen, or not, I keep saying hearing like it's a court. The meeting happens on September 11th, and then he has 14 days to fix things, and he's allowed to fix things. So, I mean, if things can get fixed, then that would be great. And I could move on, and I could have a guest house for my parents. And then I would have it for my friends, too, if they're ever coming in town and it's not being rented or they're not there, Wouldn't that be amazing? So there was one funny story I wanted to end with. Okay, so the bottom line is we need to be assertive and do what's best for us. That's not hurting someone else, that is. So, like, I wouldn't come after this guy and hurt him on purpose, even though he has hurt me. I mean, he has. Like, my emotional capabilities right now is just, like, all over the place. I have a lot of anxiety. And it's like I'm living in a cesspool of anxiety, and that is not fun. He's done that. It's not fun. But here's a funny story that I will read to you, okay? This is how somebody dealt with something when they weren't helping them. My airline accidentally sent me luggage to China instead of the UK with me. After 11 months of back and forth, so Mona, you would know this. I think it took 3 months for you to get your luggage back, right? So after 11 months of back and forth, following up on their search for my suitcase with no results, I decided to do it myself. I flew back to the country of origin, drove over to the airport, told them I wanted to see the lost luggage room, and waited for the police escort. Once I got into the room, I found my suitcase within 10 minutes. I took it, left, filed a complaint, and claimed for the reimbursement, and eventually got that money back. So that's not to say that I could just build the guest house myself or just magically come up with the money to hire someone else, But what I did was file a complaint with the ROC, which is the contractors thing, whatever that stands for. And I've solicited help from friends and people in the business, in the know. So I'm going to also end with this one last thing here. Okay, you ready for this one? Good old Ronnie Reagan. Peace is not absence of conflict. It's the ability to handle conflict by peaceful means. So even though I did that, I'm still able to talk to this guy. If need be, not going to be pals, not going to be any of this. I see a comment from Misty here. Crap, I missed so much. Sorry, it's okay. You can watch it later. You can even just listen to it and not watch it, So yeah, that's just some of the stuff I'm dealing with. You don't realize, like, I'm also not going to Worlds because my friend's getting married in Chicago and the weekend before, and I kind of just want to take some time. Never been to Milwaukee. It's right there. I think I'm going to go up there for a couple of days and just really, like, relax. And it's a domestic flight, and I'm going to take carry-on only, so I'm just not going to deal with any of the stuff, So just remember, final words. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to talk about things. It's okay to not talk about things. But being assertive and being that's really important, especially when it comes to yourself. Misty said, I will during I think your ice bath is what you meant, right? Love Milwaukee. Okay, I can't wait to go. I love Chicago, so I can't wait to go. And I have friends up there, so hopefully I'll see them too. So yeah, it's thanks for letting me vent. Thanks for letting me talk about it. I'll keep you updated. This has helped me actually talking about it, but Mona, I'll probably Marco Polo you right after this. You know what Sid Squatch says? I'm totally digging this thing. I always wear black, so he looks like he's just floating, but the journey begins with you. Oh, so be good to yourself. Should I hold him by me? Like, is he in better focus that way? And this is me. The Horgan loves you. Oh, I've got another comment. Sometimes it comes in. Yes, nice ice bath. I need to come out there and sit in your ice bath. I don't even have a bathtub anymore. I'm thinking about buying a portable one. You can use it for regular baths and also ice baths. So, guys, thank you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for letting me vent. If you have any other words of advice, thank you, Mona, for that stuff, that advice that you gave me. Drop them in the comments, and I will comment later. Love ya. Oh, and thanks for sticking with me through the technical difficulties.